Whitney Houston's tragic death left the world stunned, but beneath the surface of grief lies a web of secrets and unanswered questions, especially involving two of the most influential men in her life, Sean "Diddy" Combs and Bobby Brown. While her powerful voice and timeless music defined an era, the darker, hidden chapters of her life reveal a complicated world of control, fear, and silence. Rumors, mysterious events, and troubling behavior leading up to her final days have sparked speculation that Whitney carried a secret, one that connected her fate with Diddy and Bobby Brown in ways no one fully understands. This story dives deep into the untold truths, the silent struggles, and the murky shadows surrounding Whitney's last moments and the powerful figures close to her. Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. A turbulent legacy. Whitney Houston's life was a tapestry of unparalleled talent, immense success, and deeply personal struggles. From the soaring heights of chart-topping hits and cinematic acclaim to battles with addiction and tumultuous relationships, her story was as complex as it was tragic. Central to her personal life was her marriage to Bobby Brown, a fellow star whose wild reputation often eclipsed even his undeniable musical influence. Bobby Brown's career began with the successful R&B group New Edition, before he carved out a solo career defined by raw energy and emotional vulnerability. Yet, alongside his public persona, Brown was known for erratic behavior, substance abuse, and a volatile relationship with Whitney. Their marriage was marked by passionate highs and devastating lows, played out in the relentless glare of public scrutiny. Whitney's death wasn't just the loss of a legendary artist. It reopened wounds about their chaotic marriage, addiction battles, and the darker undercurrents of the music industry that surrounded them both. The shadowy world of music industry parties. Behind the sparkling veneer of fame and fortune, the music industry has long been linked with wild, sometimes dangerous gatherings. The pre-Grammy parties, industry events, and exclusive after-hours soirees were places where the boundaries between business and pleasure blurred, often dramatically. Rumors swirled about drug-fueled nights, secret rituals, and power plays that went far beyond music. Bobby Brown was a fixture in these scenes, his unpredictable energy and wild lifestyle making him both a captivating and cautionary figure. Sean "Diddy" Combs, then rising in the ranks as a hip-hop impresario, was another central figure in this milieu. Their worlds overlapped frequently, orbiting around the same circles of music executives, producers, and stars. A network of influence. Bobby Brown and Sean "Diddy" Combs. In the late 1880s and early 1990s, Bobby Brown was at the height of his career, renowned for hits like My Prerogative and his electrifying stage presence. He was the archetype of the rebellious R&B star, part wild child, part tragic figure. Meanwhile, Sean Combs was cutting his teeth in the industry, working under the guidance of Andre Harrell at Uptown Records, learning the business and shaping his own path. Although they were signed to different labels, Bobby to MCA Records and Combs on the rise to founding Bad Boy Records, their social and professional spheres often collided. They performed at the same events and moved through the same exclusive parties, hosted or attended by power players like Clive Davis, L.A. Reid, and Andre Harrell. These gatherings were more than just celebrations. They were hubs of influence, where deals were struck and alliances forged. The darker side of the spotlight. Bobby Brown's wild reputation was well known. Drug use, public altercations, and erratic behavior were part of his public persona. Yet beneath the surface was a man grappling with addiction, fame, and personal demons. His struggles mirrored a broader industry culture where excess was normalized and sometimes exploited. Sean Combs, meanwhile, cultivated an image of success and control. Yet behind closed doors, rumors and allegations began to surface about the exploitative and coercive nature of some industry parties. Whispered tales spoke of freak-offs, events that went beyond wild partying into darker territory involving drugs, control, and abuse. The alleged ritualistic parties and their impact stories of these freak-offs paint a chilling picture. Marathon parties fueled by drugs that numbed pain and memory, leaving participants vulnerable to manipulation. Jaguar Wright, a singer and former industry insider, described these gatherings as places where potent drugs were used to erase victims' memories, enabling horrific abuses to remain hidden. The implication that such drugs could be weaponized to control people at these parties adds a terrifying layer to already disturbing allegations. Experts like Dr. Brian Hurley, who works with addiction and trauma patients, emphasize how dangerous such drug use can be, distorting reality, impairing judgment, and making individuals susceptible to exploitation. When drugs are used intentionally to control others, it becomes a criminal act with devastating consequences. Cassie Ventura's testimony, a stark revelation. One of the most harrowing voices to emerge in the ongoing trial is that of Cassie Ventura, Sean Combs's ex-girlfriend and a former singer herself. Cassie courageously testified about her experience with these freak-offs, describing them as grueling, multi-day ordeals that robbed her of normal life. Her vivid accounts detail forced participation in endless partying, awake for days, subjected to drugs and alcohol, pressured into sexual encounters with strangers. The toll on her mental and physical health was profound, leaving her feeling empty, exhausted, and trapped in a nightmarish cycle. Cassie's revelation that she would return a $20 million settlement if it meant never having to endure such events again underscores the trauma behind the headlines. Her testimony gives a face and voice to the victims behind the shadowy allegations. Legal and media fallout. Legal experts like Gray Jarrett have highlighted the severity of the allegations against Sean Combs, portraying him as a manipulative figure who used threats, violence, and drugs to maintain control over others. The court was shown videos suggesting physical abuse, and prosecutors painted a portrait of a man whose public persona masked a darker reality of coercion and fear. The media frenzy around the trial has brought unprecedented scrutiny to the music industry's secretive practices. What was once whispered speculation is now front-page news, forcing a reckoning with the toxic culture that has allowed abuse to persist. The tragic personal toll, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's family. Beyond the headlines and courtroom drama lies a deeply personal tragedy. Bobby Brown has openly spoken about the pain and guilt he carries regarding his family, particularly their daughter, Bobby Christina Brown. He admits to feeling like he failed as a parent, witnessing his loved ones struggle with addiction and violence. Their relationship was fraught with conflict, as Brown describes shouting matches, drug-fueled fights, and moments of despair. Despite their love for one another, the cycle of abuse and addiction proved overpowering. Friends and family have likened their bond to a Bonnie and Clyde dynamic, inseparable but destructive. The mysterious death of Kim Porter, a story of silence and suspicion. Kim Porter, known for her remarkable career as a model and actress, and her high-profile relationship with music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, was found dead at her home in Los Angeles at the age of 47. Officially, the cause of death was listed as pneumonia, a condition that can indeed be deadly, especially if left untreated. However, those who were close to Kim expressed grave doubts about the official report. The way she was found did not match the story of a peaceful death from illness. According to insiders, Kim was discovered collapsed on the bathroom floor, contradicting initial reports that claimed she passed away quietly in her bed. Witnesses noted a disturbing trail of blood leading from the bed to the bathroom, which raised questions about how someone with pneumonia, a respiratory infection, could have ended up in such a state. This blood trail and the scene's overall chaos hinted at the possibility of foul play, or, at the very least, a death far more complex and troubling than what the public was told. A life shadowed by fear and secrets. One of Kim's closest confidants and former partners, singer Al B. Sure, shared unsettling insights about her final days. Al B. Sure revealed that Kim had been increasingly worried about her safety before her death. She confided in him about feeling threatened, anxious, and desperate to protect herself. She kept detailed notes on her phone, laptop, and even in diaries, documenting troubling incidents, particularly those involving powerful people connected to her life, including Diddy. The mysterious disappearance of these records immediately after her death fueled further suspicion. Al B. Sure claimed that her phone and laptop were wiped clean, and her notes vanished without explanation. He believed this was no accident, but rather a deliberate effort to erase evidence that might expose the truth behind Kim's fears. According to him, Kim once told him, "If anything happens to me, don't believe it was just an accident." This haunting warning implied she knew dangers lurked close and that she possessed information that could threaten influential figures. The changed autopsy and the controlled narrative, adding to the intrigue, Al B. Sure alleged that the initial doctor who examined Kim's body was replaced under suspicious circumstances. He claimed this alteration was intended to control the narrative presented to the public, possibly to downplay or hide evidence of violence or foul play. This manipulation, if true, raises questions about who had the power and motive to interfere in a death investigation involving a celebrity with connections to powerful people. Al B. Sure's ongoing public appeals for justice highlight a demand for transparency. He insists that the case should be reopened and thoroughly investigated, emphasizing that Kim's story was silenced and overshadowed by influential protection. Testimonies from the inside. Gene Deal's revelations. Another voice demanding justice is Gene Deal, the daughter of Kim's father. Gene provided crucial information that paints a disturbing picture of Kim's life in her final years. According to Gene, she was the last person to see Kim alive, leaving Kim's house at 3 a.m. She described working closely with Diddy as a bodyguard and witnessing disturbing behavior behind closed doors. Gene recounted hearing fights between Kim and Diddy and even claimed that Diddy would lock Kim in rooms where she could be heard crying and begging for the conflict to end. These accounts, if true, indicate a possible pattern of abuse and control that was never addressed publicly or in official police reports. Gene criticized law enforcement for ignoring these signs and for never questioning Diddy, who remained uncharged. The omission of critical details, such as the presence of blood on Kim's pillow and visible bruises, suggests a cover-up or negligence in the investigation. Gene's demand to reopen the case resonates with many who feel justice was denied due to the powerful status of those involved. Whitney Houston, a life of talent and turmoil. The tragic story of Kim Porter echoes other dark tales in the entertainment industry, such as the life and death of Whitney Houston. Whitney was an icon whose powerful voice and string of hits earned her global admiration. Yet, beneath the glitz and glamour, her life was marked by struggles with substance abuse and a troubled marriage to Bobby Brown. In 2012, Whitney Houston was found dead in the bathtub of her hotel room at the Beverly Hilton, just hours before a high-profile party hosted by Clive Davis, a music executive credited with launching her career. In a move that shocked many, Clive Davis chose to proceed with the party despite Whitney's passing, holding it in the very hotel where she had died. The cold party and conspiracy theories. The decision to continue with the party was seen by some as cold and callous. The atmosphere was subdued, markedly different from Davis's usual lavish celebrations before the Grammys. This incident sparked theories about the motivations behind the event and Whitney's death. Some speculate that her death inadvertently triggered a massive surge in her music sales, generating more revenue posthumously than during her final years. Such speculation led to wild theories suggesting that Whitney's death was anticipated or even exploited for financial gain. These suspicions were fueled by the timing and the events surrounding her final hours. Whitney's final days, strange behavior, and the secret note. Just days before her death, Whitney made headlines at a press conference where she appeared visibly unwell, sweating profusely, confused, and speaking oddly. During this event, Whitney approached fellow singer Brandy and handed her a folded piece of paper, whispering something inaudible. Brandy's shocked reaction, captured on camera, immediately sparked questions. Despite repeated inquiries, Brandy has steadfastly refused to reveal what the note said, insisting it was private and personal. This refusal only deepened the mystery and inspired speculation about the note's contents. Was it a farewell message? A warning? An attempt by Whitney to signal danger lurking nearby? Further complicating the picture, Whitney was reportedly seen with scratches and cuts on her arms and legs, and she appeared agitated, even confrontational, in the days before her death. Friends and insiders noted that she seemed in desperate need of help, yet no one intervened decisively. The role of Ray J and the missing security footage. Ray J, a singer and Brandy's brother, was one of the last people seen with Whitney before her death. His involvement adds another layer of complexity to the story. Reports conflict about his movements on the day Whitney died. Some say he was turned away from her hotel room, while others claim he was there earlier than officially acknowledged. The Beverly Hilton, known for its tight security and extensive camera coverage, had notable gaps in its surveillance footage on the day of Whitney's death. Missing video segments only fueled speculation about a cover-up. How could a hotel with such stringent security lose vital footage during a high-profile death investigation? Rumors circulated that Ray J and Clive Davis had orchestrated plans to keep Ray J away from Whitney during her final week, purportedly to avoid suspicion. Some conspiracy theories even propose that Ray J might have let dangerous people into Whitney's hotel room, leading to her death being staged as an accidental drowning. The aftermath: money, guilt, and silence. Following Whitney's death, Ray J reportedly benefited financially, jump-starting his career anew. His emotional interviews and cryptic comments about carrying guilt and avoiding bad karma have only deepened public curiosity. He has admitted to feeling responsible, but refuses to disclose details, heightening suspicions that he knows more than he is willing to say. During a reality show, Ray J confided in a friend named Stacy, expressing deep pain and a heavy secret he could not share publicly. This guardedness has prompted theories that he is protecting others or himself from legal or personal repercussions. The tragic echo: Bobby Christina Brown's death. In a chilling parallel, Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, was found unconscious in a bathtub 3 years after Whitney's death. She remained in a coma for several months before passing away. Bobby Christina's boyfriend, Nick Gordon, was widely suspected of involvement, particularly drug use, but was never charged. Nick Gordon's later death by overdose added a tragic layer to this story of loss and unanswered questions. The back-to-back deaths of mother and daughter under eerily similar circumstances have led many to believe that the dark forces surrounding Whitney may have also claimed her daughter. Shadows over Diddy. Connections and questions. While Sean Diddy Combs was not directly linked to Whitney or Bobby Christina's deaths, similar themes of fear, control, secrecy, and pain have emerged around him and his circle. With Diddy now facing court cases and increasing public scrutiny over his past, people are revisiting the circumstances of Kim Porter's death. Many ask, was Kim trying to speak out before she died? Were other women hurt but silenced? Is there a broader pattern of abuse and cover-ups involving powerful figures in the entertainment world? The last public appearance, Whitney's strange press conference. Just 2 days before Whitney died, she made a puzzling public appearance at a press conference featuring Brandy, Monica, Clive Davis, and Ray J. Whitney's odd behavior, sweating, disoriented, and whispering a secret note to Brandy, left many concerned. Brandy's visible shock and secrecy about the note only deepen the mystery. Fans speculate that Whitney might have been trying to warn Brandy or protect her from danger, suggesting that Whitney sensed a looming threat she could not openly reveal. The unanswered questions and continuing theories. The combined mysteries of Kim Porter and Whitney Houston's deaths, intertwined with missing evidence, secret notes, contradictory accounts, and suspicious behavior by those close to them, continue to fascinate and disturb the public. Theories about foul play, cover-ups, and exploitation abound. Were these women victims of a cruel industry that prioritizes power and money over justice and truth? Or were these tragedies the result of personal demons and unfortunate circumstances, seeking truth amid silence? Both Kim Porter's and Whitney Houston's deaths reveal a darker side of fame, where secrets are protected and the truth can be obscured by powerful interests. Voices like Al B. Sure and Gene Deal continue to demand answers and justice for Kim, while the ongoing silence from key figures in Whitney's story fuels public suspicion. As fans and observers, we are left with more questions than answers. The trails of blood, missing notes, withheld secrets, and unexplained behaviors beckon for deeper investigation. Only by confronting these shadows head-on can the full story emerge, and perhaps justice be served.